Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and today we're here to talk about your life. Why is it, if it is the case, that you don't understand what's going on in your life? You're not clear. You're just kind of moving forth on autopilot, having whatever experiences come, dealing with them the best way you can, not understanding what's taking place. Well, in this video, that is what we'll be addressing. So let's get started. Please take a look at my board. I know it doesn't make much sense right now, but I'm going to break down each box that you see because they are significant to understanding your life. The imagery on this board is significant to coming to understand those different questions or answers or challenges that you are facing in your life. I'm going to try to do a lot of reading from my notes to try to make it go faster and hopefully to be clearer. Anyway, the question is, so why don't you know what's going on in your life? Well, let's start with number one. To gain an understanding, we're focusing on how our universe is a massive construct, huge construct, composed of numerous living objects, namely the planets, the stars, and the moon. It also includes you, me, and every individual that exists. Even more, there are the animals and plant life and so on and so on. This is just to name a few things. Let's focus on the planetary bodies, the planets, Mars, Venus, Earth, etc., etc. All of these heavenly bodies have been given their attributes and powers. Each has its job to perform. Did you know that? They're not just there. They're actually alive and they're actually vibrating. They have attributes, characteristics, and power. Power to do what? Execute. We're going to move forward. Question. Do you know the attributes and powers of these influential entities? In astrology, it defines those attributes and powers. Example, Venus is over love and beauty and harmony, etc., etc. But we're going to come back to that. But my question is, why don't you? Why don't you? This has to do with your life. Now, let's kind of move and focus on this board. We're going to start down here with this yellow box. What does it say? Oh, okay. Let me read. When you were born, a snapshot of the planetary alignment was taken, whether by man or by God. The snapshot by man is documented by man as a birth certificate. That birth certificate includes some key information, and it is the location of your birth, the exact time you entered into this realm from your mother's womb. It also includes the year, month, and date of your entry into this realm. Now that birth chart, that information, that important imperative information is what is used to compose your birth chart. in astrology. It is a snapshot of the position of the heavenly bodies at the time you entered this realm and began to breathe. You're now in the physical. The purpose of that snapshot or your birth certificate documents your personal relationship with this realm, this place, this universe, within this world. Before we move forward, I want to talk about your name. What's your name? Mine is Nancy. Well, our names may be the very first misleading information we receive about ourselves. Say, what you talking about, Nancy? Your name, whatever it is, immediately begins to mislead you about who you really are. Let me give you an example. You know I got to do something naughty, right? You're born, your parents name you Mercedes. Okay? But you grow up to look like and act like a transpucia. You know what transpucia is? You know. And so your name can be misleading to who you really are from a soul level. You got a name so that I'm trying to read. I catch glitches when I'm trying to read and improv at the same time. I got to choose. So anyway, I'm going to go back and read my last little thing from the note. Your name is given to you without any awareness of who you are on a soul level, wherever you came from before this, whatever your past experiences are, your family, your mom, your dad, whoever names you. Many times they have your name prepared even before you enter this realm. That is why that your name can be misleading to who you actually are and what you're actually about. Anyway, you got a name so that your tribe, who's your tribe? Your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, we're going to come back to that, know who you are, would have a fixed way to identify you. And so that you know who you are within the tribe. An example is your name is Mercedes. Your mom's name may be Mary. Your dad is Joe. Your sister Stacy. Your bro Jay. Don't forget your cousins Pete, Rose, Ann, and Ben, as well as their parents, Auntie Peg and Uncle Jerry. And you are, what's your name? Your name is merely given to you at your birth from your tribe so that they can identify you as an individual within the tribe. So they can say, hey, Mercedes, But if we want mom, we say, hey, Mary. If we want her sister, hey, what would we name her? Peg, just to identify you. Anywho, while you are here, let's point out one more thing. Oh, yeah. You are given shortly after arrival. Can you guess? After you come here, you're named. Okay. It's something else that you're given. What is it? Yep. A social security number. You receive a social security number. In short, you are given a social security number for basically the same purpose as the receival of your name, and it is to identify you. But you are being identified from the masses, from the world at large. This is the way for the government to identify you. That's your herd number. You know your herd, HERD? And once again, your social security number identifies you out of the masses of people that live upon this world during the time of your existence. And your birth certificate tells the higher ups, the government, the people in power, who you are or will be in this world and in this realm. Those are the two things that they have on you. They give less than a care about what your family name you. That's irrelevant. They've already given your name in numerical numbers. They know you. They know what you're here to do, what you're capable of achieving through what? The snapshot. Your birth certificate can be broken down or expounded in a birth chart that tells your life story. And so I bring that up because this video is about it's your life. So why don't you understand what's going on in your life? But the higher ups do. The government does. You know, why don't you understand you and it's your life? So I'm going to ask again. I'm going to be fair. Do you know who you are? And so, why not? It's your life. Now, catch this. You are predestined to interact in this realm in a particular way. Birth chart. With that being said, what you are interacting with are, now we're going up to the next box, hidden influences, such as Mars. Mars represents, remember say they had attributes, characteristics, powers. Well, Mars is about power, passion, aggression, energy. I talked about Venus. Well, Venus represents compatibility, peace, love, softness, comfort, wants. Earth, where you stand at, the realm you're born into, represents physicality, manifestation, materialization, tangible things. Hidden influences, the urge, impulses, mandatory responses, and needs. How about air? Breath. You need it to breathe. Life itself is animation. Now let me stop and make sure you are understanding this video. Right now, we're talking about why you may not be able to see who you are clearly, or what's going on in your life clearly, or why the events or circumstances are taking place in your life. You can't see them clearly. When, here you are, when you were born, a snapshot was taken of your life story that talks about how you will relate, interact, or interface in this physical realm. Even though the story is already told, you don't know who you are. You don't know why you're having the experiences you're having. So now we're discovering why you don't know it. Well, number one, most of us have not been raised to appreciate the significance of that snapshot, the birth certificate, the birth chart. And then, you know, sometimes you just stumble into stuff. So why haven't you stumbled into coming to understand who you are and how you relate to this physical realm? Well, because there are hidden influences. And that's what I'm covering now with this here pink box. The reason why you cannot see is because sometimes it has to do with the hidden influences. Sometimes the experiences that you have in your life that you can't make sense of has to do with these hidden influences. Now, I just shared just a few examples. There are so many different hidden influences. I just talked about Mars, Venus, Earth, Urge, air, and life. These entities, these powers, are influencing your existence in this realm. So, question, how do you know? No. Your soul, how does your soul relate to these influences? Do you know? It's your life. Now let's move on. Being aware of this feature. What feature? Hidden influences in this realm, or being unaware of this feature, hidden influences that exist in this realm, creates confusion in relationship to your life. Now let's move forward to the next box. Remember, this video is explaining why you may not know who you really are. You might not be able to make sense of the experiences you are having. And why haven't you stumbled across this information? In this video, I'm showing you how it is concealed, because it is known from the moment you pop out the womb, who you are and how you will interact or interface in this realm. These hidden influences help to shroud who you really are. These hidden influences impact or influence what you experience in this realm. Sometimes it just don't make sense. Now we're going to the world constructs. You say, what's the world construct, Nancy? Well, let's dive into it. The construct of the world, what is this? It's all the elements that create this realm. And this is going to be complicated. So all I can do is just a smidget, because this world is constructed of so many different facets. So I'm just going to give you some examples of how you may be unable to identify who you are and why you're having the life experiences you are having. Some examples of our world constructs are beliefs, the educational system, law, the structure of family, relationships, love. It has to do with medical stuff. It has to do with image, politics, cultures, language, jobs, wars, organizations, social media, fashion, media, news, on and on and on and on. Everything that creates this world. And when you look at this particular level of the world constructs, you see I made little boxes. These little boxes each represent a particular construct or feature that creates our world, this matrix, this existence. One box may be religion or beliefs or law or politics or wars or jobs or social media or news or language. It's a mad collage of things going on here in this realm. So my question to you: what boxes do you personally participate in? Okay. Because some may believe, as I did, that long as it hasn't happened and the experience hasn't happened, there's a possibility and a probability of it happening. And now we're trying to get to the truth about who you are. So, looking at this box in this world construct, can you take this box and say, this is religion, and I'm a part of a particular religion? This is family. I am a part of the family structure. I have a nuclear family. I have a career in a particular field. And so these boxes that you participate in were predetermined here. But you may not have known that. I got to make another video. I'll get to it. You may not have known it. You may have stumbled onto it or into that particular box to participate in that particular box. But, or you may have ended up participating, what I'm trying to get to, participating in certain boxes that really don't vibe well with you because you don't know who you are. Because you don't know that there are hidden entities that are influencing your life and your life experience and your interaction in this world. So now back here, this birth chart tells you that it is highly possible that these hidden influences will lead you to partake in boxes that really don't vibe well with who you really are, especially on a soul level. And so in life, you may face so many challenges. You're like, where did it come from? You know? But then there are other people, although they may not have access to the birth chart, those hidden influences help to, make sure they go down the right path to partake in particular boxes. But let's move on. I was talking about possibility and probability of partaking in any particular box or construct within our world. And I brought that up because that is an important feature too in this world. We need to understand that from a soul level, that snapshot in the sky that tells us how we're going to relate or interface or interact in this world, predestined, energy, is only permitting you to engage with certain boxes in this realm. So we may chase a particular box. For example, you want the millionaire box, the good life, the millionaire box. I want this one. Is it possible for you? Is it a probability for you? Your birth chart would give you the information you need to answer that question. We each are not all eligible for the $1 million box. Not everybody can get this one. Maybe you can, but maybe I can't. So this birth chart, that snapshot in the sky at the time you entered this realm, is truly priceless. Let me see, because I think I'm losing my way. Now, every box is offered to you. Only select boxes are granted to you. We talked about the millionaire box. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So we're going to say this one is the millionaire box. Even if you're not into this birth chart, let's see about this millionaire box. In order to get to this millionaire box, you got to be linked in to one of these other social constructs we have or worldly constructs we have in order to even gain access to the millionaire's box. So the question is, do you have access to any of these boxes? What are some of the examples of the boxes that would surround the $1,000,000 box? Box meaning you have the opportunity to participate in that particular construct while you are here in this physical world. Well, look at your bank account. What does it look like? If your bank account is in the vicinity or headed that way, at least to, make an investment or something like that, you may have access to the $1,000,000 box. What about how you use your energy and your level of profit? How does it go? Some people put forth a lot of energy, lots and lots of energy, but they get very little profit. Well, that box would be nowhere near the $1,000,000 box. You know what I'm saying? Well, others, they can put in a very little effort, very little energy, but yet their profit is through the roof. You may have a box closer to the $1,000,000 box, increasing your probability of making it to that box. All boxes or all experiences are not, people are not eligible for them, is what I'm trying to get you to see. Let's look at one other way that you can kind of see, am I eligible for that $1,000,000 box? Well, the people you interact with are a mirror reflection of you. So when you look at your social network, birds of a feather flock together, you trying to get to the millionaire box. Are you around millionaires? At least late thousand, high thousandaires, people working to make there. They get the money to invest, the ideas and all that kind of stuff, the ability to write plans and all those different constructs that exist in our world around the $1,000,000 box. The reason I bring up the $1,000,000 box is because that box is not accessible for everybody, only particular people. Now let's move forward. Oh, I didn't finish. So let's talk about this. If you can answer yes to, your bank account right around this box, your social network is right around this box, and you use very little energy and get maximum benefit. Well, then, okay, if you can answer yes, it says then these boxes that are attached to the $1,000,000 box may lead you to own your own island. Once you jump into that, partaking that $1,000,000 box, now you might own your own island, own your own jet, buy the land on the earth, that don't belong to nobody, but you could buy land on the earth if you're able to access that $1,000,000 box. Not everybody is able to access that $1,000,000 box. Why? Because there are influences. There is predestined experiences that you will have in this world. And so only those that are meant to get there, to access that box, will be fortunate enough to be able to partake in that particular box. Let's see. Before I go further, I'd like to add a little bit more because we're almost at the end. I want to talk about a single particular box or construct in this world. Example is religion. And I just bring religion up because there are 4,300 religions in the world. I'm going to repeat that. Worldwide, there are 4,300 religions. Which one are you? 4,300 religions. Which box are you in? I guess that's where I was going anyway. So my question is here. Which boxes do you participate in? You need to understand or should know that you are participating in a particular box, and you need to be aware of this because this is your life. Why haven't you been able to see and govern your own life? Because these are pre-constructed experiences that you end up fitting into or partaking in, you know. And so I bring up religion. Like I could take this whole box, even though I used it for as an example of all the constructs in the world. Now I'm changing it and saying, okay, this is just the religious constructs. 4,300 religions worldwide. Which box are you? Now let's change it. Scrape out world here and put language constructs. Guess how many languages there are worldwide? Catch this, everybody. There are 6,800 languages. Which construct are you up under? Do you know who you are? Why not? We've already identified that a snapshot of your life has or was taken at the time of your birth that showed how you would interact and interface with this world, your capabilities, and places that you may have challenges. It was difficult for you to see because most of us don't even deal with birth charts. And then on top of it, we don't even know that there are hidden influences, entities, powers, principalities that are affecting or influencing our experience here while in this physical realm. And then on top of it, why don't you know who you are? It's your life. Then you have these preconceived constructs that create our world that you are forced to fit in or partake in. You're led to. You may be led by hidden influences and different things like that. Unforeseen energies or entities to have partake in a particular language or a particular religion, a particular career arena, or whatever the case may be. It is about your image and image itself, how you feel relative to the acceptable image. All these different constructs are shrouding who you really are. You're lost in the mix, so to say. And I want you to keep this box in mind because it's so important. Because this is just a grid of all the constructs in the world. Religion, different career fields, cultures, language, you name it. What else did I name? Let me go back. All these different things. All of these different things here. Laws, more laws, man's laws, and regulations and the ordinances and everything. We have the family structure and what it should be. Following that, we have the medical and what you need here. You need this test, this lab, this. Very news, all the news all over the world coming from different sources. On and on and on and on. Various organizations, different ideas of what love is, all these boxes. Which ones are you participating in? Because those boxes now define you in this world. But is it really you? That you that existed before you manifested into this world and got the snapshot? about how you were going to interact in this realm? Anyway, let me go ahead, because I know I'm losing you because I'm losing me. Oh. Now let's go back to this box as a box dealing with the different various religions. 4,300 religions. Some examples of the religions that exist in our world now are Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, agnostic, theist, is this the Shinto? Neo-paganism, Baha, and there's so many more, 4,300 to be exact. So each of them, understand that each of them have a fixed doctrine and rituals that mold your mind and your actions. So you take one of these boxes out, you're a participant in Christianity. Well, Christianity has its doctrines and its rituals. And those doctrines and rituals create your belief system, and it begins to govern your mind and therefore the way you think. So right there, that's just as a box in a box. Who are you? Let me go on. What I got here? Oh, okay. I got another one. We're still dealing with this box here. Now we're going to just focus on educational, academics. Do you get your education from the public sector, private sector? You know, are you going to a religious-based school? Is it elementary? Is it junior high? Is it high school? Is it college? Is it a university? Is it grad school? You take these boxes out, because each level or source of your education varies. The information that you receive varies. It's a box in a box. The question is, who are you? What's on the curriculum is a question you should ask. And the reason why you may be asking this question is because all of these experiences that you have in this world, all the boxes that you partake in, are creating who you are relative to this world. Who's telling the story? Have you or are you being instructed on how these learning opportunities fit into the world in order to teach you who you are? You know, you go through all the school, but is it helping you understand who you are? You know, you're doing a lot of investment into this world, a lot of fitting into this world, but are you learning who you are? Is the question that really matters. Is it being answered? Do you know who you are? Another thing I'm just going to interject here, because I made a video the other day talking about changing shit into sugar, a lesson in alchemy. When it comes to the educational system, it was something that I couldn't see for myself. And I think it may be across the border that people can't see for themselves. That many of the classes, you know, I used the chemistry because it lined up with alchemy, is that it is teaching you about this world. It doesn't address who you are as an individual. It never takes that in consideration at all. All chemistry was doing and mathematics was doing was explaining to you the theories that have been discovered in the existence of humanity, so that you can basically go into one of those disciplines and to further, come to understand this realm. The educational system, for the most part, has nothing to do with you. Even if you go to a educational school, a religious-based school, it still has nothing to do with you as an individual being. You are not learning who you are, especially on a soul level. So my question is, Why don't you know you? Who are you? This matters. Those questions matter. They need to be answered because guess what? It's your life. And so you need to understand all the different components that are not permitting you from identifying who you really are, why you are here, what you have to offer. It also stops you from pursuing your true aims, why you're here in this plane, why you incarnated into this plane, why you're born into this plane. And how does it stop you from pursuing those particular things? It's because you're being put in a box. You are being influenced to be put in a certain box and to be like stuck, literally. Anyway, let me go on. Oh, okay. Another thing I wanted to point out and talk about is man's laws. All these are man's laws. When you break the law set forth by another human, you insulted them. You made it hard for them. They have ordinances. I started talking about that. Rules, regulations, policies, deeds, licenses. They expect you. They force you. They who other constructs of the world, the law, the politics, the police, the military, all those different constructs, force you to or enforce those rules, regulations, ordinances, and stuff because you may have insulted somebody in this realm. But what about universal law? What about God's law? How do you relate or fit or interact with God's law? What does He expect you to do? Your birth chart. Now, what about back to this box again? What about media? What about social media, Facebook, here, YouTube, you name it. And image. What image? Of you, of people, of how you lifestyles, the image, you're being fit into a box. It's a preconceived notion about how women should look. It's a preconceived notion about how men should look. It's a preconceived notion about how family can be structured. It's a preconceived notion about lifestyle. What box are you partaking in? Does it get you closer to understanding who you are? Then it is you're psychologically being imposed upon. And because you are psychologically being imposed upon through these worldly constructs, it also dictates and governs your perspective of yourself and of this world. But the problem here is you don't know who you are. And it's your life. Now let's talk about, using this box once again, all of these wars. There are cultural wars, gender wars, religious wars, so much. What box do you fit in and why? An example I bring up is war. We go out to fight against other nations or countries, heck, our neighbors, don't matter. And for what? When most of us don't even know who we are. And if you don't know who you are, what you really stand for, why you here, why are you fighting someone else that doesn't know who they are, why they're here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The world construct is directly related to taking over the world. Somebody figure something out. The general man and woman doesn't have time to even figure things out. They just come here and they keep following the path set forth to tried and true. That ends up imprisoning a person's mind, body, and ultimately their consciousness. At this time, I want to refer you to a particular video I made. I was going to say movie. It could be a movie. It's 3 hours long. It's a 3-part series. And it's called The Spiritual Battle is On. And it goes all up and down through our existence from the moment we come out the womb until we leave out in the tomb. It talks about world domination. It talks about the Illuminati. I address war and what it's really about. So I ask you, if you have time, make some time to watch that 3-part series. It's 3 hours long. But it will help us. It will help you understand how you're being bamboozled. And why should you be bamboozled when it's your life? Anyway, oh yeah, a couple other videos I'd like you to check out if you have time. The next is called Your Ass is Grass, due to the world's greatest pyramid scheme. It is another one that talks about the world constructs and goes in there. See, I want to go in there and come to understand what's going on. Then there's another video I have, and it's called God's Covenant with Man, which goes in there and opens up this particular box or this particular subject and goes all down through there. This is called, the video is called God's Covenant with Man. And then when we start talking about the video I made talking about the spiritual battle, it covered all this. The spiritual battle was on. It was 3 hours long. The truth is, it's your life. And you should understand what's really going on. Why? Because it's your life. And so my point is, you don't have to walk blindly through this experience, not knowing what's going on. I didn't finish the top, the casing, the veil. That's why you really can't see what's going on. This is the icing on the cake. The reason why you can't see what's going on, because there's so much chaos going on. That chaos includes all of those dang on religions. They're everywhere. All of the war, all the stuff is going on simultaneously. It has created this opaque veil you can't see. All of the religions, which one is right? All of the wars, for what? We have people that are living a life of luxury. Well, we have other people that are starving to death. We're told that love is this, but yet we have so many divorces and cheating and lying. We have image, but yet we have fast food restaurants, very unhealthy foods, but they say this is the perfect image. And so it's all these overlapping lies and lies and lies and lies till you can't see the truth. So this video was to wake you up so you can see, what's going on and why you don't really know who you are or why you are here. And my question is, why don't you know? And it's your life. Anyway, thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. Until next time, bye.